Hey guys, sorry for the delay. Welcome to Friday Fun at Bonnie Bay Crochet. It's been a while. Again, sorry about that delay. I pushed the right buttons and it just kind of spinned a little bit, spun a little bit. Can't even speak. Anyway, it's so glad to be back. I just got back yesterday evening um, after driving about 1,600 miles this past week, going all the way from Gaithersburg, Maryland. I'll just tell you a little bit about the trip. I stopped off in Kentucky, in the mountains of Kentucky, and was able to visit our crochet friends. Let me go ahead and turn this a little bit. There you go. Our crochet friends, Bobby and Tammy, who live in the nursing home, and it was just wonderful to spend time with them. And then the next day, I went from the mountains of Kentucky all the way down to Georgia, outside of Atlanta, and yeah, I got to drive in Atlanta traffic again. Oh my goodness! And I survived, and that was through torrential rainstorm, summer in the South. So it was a little bit of a trial getting there. It's one of those 7-hour trips turned into an 11-hour trip, and then coming home yesterday. Um, where did I go? Oh yeah, I visited some friends in Columbia, South Carolina, and then drove from there yesterday. And I just have to tell you, it was interesting too. It was an 8-hour drive that turned into a 10-hour or 10 and a half hour drive. You know how that goes, but I just want to be first to say that I'm so thankful that I was not a part of the accident that I drove by on 495. I mean, I was like 20 miles from home, had driven all day long, and then basically parked on the interstate for about an hour while we waited for the rescuers to help people. So, it was a little bit of a delay for me, but honestly, was just really, really thankful that I wasn't a part of the cause and everything. So anyway, well, thank you guys for being patient with me as I had a few minutes delay trying to figure out how to make this thing work. I am using again, I'm using my computer today. I think the mic is probably one of our better options. And until I can figure out some of the other technology that we have available, we'll just go with this. But anyway, so I'm using a different platform entirely. So the older I get, the more I get to learn. Uh, so let me go ahead and let me see anything else. Oh, let me say something before I forget, before I start saying hey to everybody. Um, if you are looking for kind of a written down version of some of the things I talk about, I do send out a newsletter. Many of you are on it, but many of you don't know about it. It's a free newsletter. It's mostly a newsy thing telling you about the designs that are coming out. And I do post some photos of, like I'm going to be posting probably a couple photos of the drive and the trip and stuff in the newsletter that I'm not able to really show you here on the live. So if you're interested in that, I please sign up. The email, I'm sorry, the web link is bonniebay.com or bonniebaycrochet.com. Both of those work. It takes you to my website, and it's the basically the opening page of my website. And if you scroll down, you will see where you can sign up for a newsletter. So, and just to let you know, if you decide to do that, thank you in advance. And the other thing is, I do not sell my list of information. My people list stays with Bonnie Bay Crochet only, and that is only to be used for the newsletter that you subscribe to. Again, it's free. It's mostly newsy stuff. I do have, sometimes I'll throw something special in there, and I am trying to get better about sending that out more frequently. But it's not going to be a spam bot where you get something every day and have to clear out. I promise I don't have that kind of time, and I certainly don't want to fill your mailboxes unnecessarily. But anyway, and before I get into greeting everybody, I want to show you I got a new pair of earrings. And the reason this is significant, actually, I bought two, is I bought them from Tammy, who's at the nursing home, and she does fantastic, beautiful work. And as I was leaving, I'm show you a picture she painted, and I looked at all the different things that she kind of sells at the hillbilly days that they have in the fall there, and they just don't have she don't have doesn't have a way to really put this online. Um, and she does have some physical challenges, but I just wanted to show you this beautiful picture, and she gave it to me. She wanted me to have this. I just thought it looked like a llama, and I just thought it was so beautiful. And I'm looking forward to getting a either getting a little frame, or I don't know if I'm even going to bother with the frame, but I'm looking up in my room here trying to find a place where I can hang this. It just reminded me of some of the favorite type of fiber that I love. I love working with alpaca and llama and well, really anything really that's soft and nice and purdy. But but yeah, I just wanted to share that. So Tammy, if you're watching, or Bobby, if you're watching, thank you. And just a little note, Bobby is doing well, but he is asking for prayer. He is getting going to be getting some tests done. There may be some cardiac issues, possibly some blockages that could be significant. So if you could, if you know Bobby or think of Bobby, I know he would appreciate you praying. And okay, Hannah is with us now. So thank you so much, Hannah. She had to finish up her math test before before coming online because she wanted to enjoy the time. And guys, I missed you. I missed you all so much last week. What was I doing Friday? Ah, Friday. I was in that drive. I was driving from Kentucky to Noonan, Georgia, and yeah, I drove through very, very interesting summer thunderstorm. Thought I was in hail for a bit, HAIL, but it were just big drops. I was just praying that I wouldn't get to drive in a hailstorm. I've done that once before, and it was not a lot of fun. But anyway, well, Lynn, so good to see you in the chat. And Susan, so glad that you could join us. And Lynn, thank you for taking care of Kelly in the chat. I did see a little bit of that. Kelly, I'm so sorry to hear about your loss. That's never easy to walk through. And Marie, so good to see you. And yes, Lynn says we are a crochet family and we're there to be there for one another through it all. Amen. And thank you guys. I really do feel that. And, I know this is all cyberspace ish, but we are real people. And I got to meet several of you last year, and it was just such a joy for me, beyond words. And Angie, good morning to you, and Jacqueline. Thank you for caring for Lynn. And let's see. And Wanda from Bahama, North Carolina, praying all are well. Thank you, Wanda. And Wanda Gordon, so good to see you in the chat, and just again encouraging our members here. Let's see. And also Wanda, the truck driver friend, Wanda. I I just want to say I appreciate and are so thankful for what you do after all this driving, which is probably just a drop in the bucket compared to what you're doing every day. And you're driving a huge rig out there serving us, by delivering things. And thank you so much for all the work that you do. And anybody else out there that's a truck driver, I so respect was able to, I always try, especially since my car is so dinky, I always try to help the truck drivers if they need to merge. It's like, please, I'm just like a little flea here, but I want you to go in front. And yesterday in the terrible traffic, we were on 495 outside of Washington, if you can imagine, and everything went down to just one lane. Once we could get by, once they took care of the emergency situation, everything shut down. But this one trucker was trying to get over and nobody would let him over. And I just stopped where I was. I said, please get over. And then he was able to let me in afterwards. So, which was really great. That's not why I did it, but it worked out, a mutual beneficial thing. So if you guys are out there and you and can help the truckers, please do. They have a huge rig, and it's a huge job. And I just see so many cars just dash in and out in front of them as if these guys and girls can stop on a dime. And if anybody knows anything about science and momentum, that's just not possible. So thank you again, my friend Wanda, and all you other truck drivers out there. We can't do it without you. And thank you for the reminder about hitting the thumbs up. I so appreciate that. And Let me just get through some of you guys because you've been waiting for 2 weeks. I have too. Um, Kelly, you come up with the most interesting things to crochet. A dog poopy bag holder. Oh my goodness. Well, I just let you know I don't have a doggy, so I don't need one, but that is really creative. I'd like to see what those look like. I guess it holds a lot of extra bags for you. And thank you for being responsible. Those of you who use such a thing, that's great. The rest of us, the rest of the world appreciates that, especially if you're my neighbor. Um, and Alana, good morning to you. She says, I had trouble signing on, but I'm here at last. Power outage last night. Oh dear. That can be tough. And Red Hooked, it's good to see you in the chat from Northeast Ohio. Thank you for caring for Kelly. Um, I would love to see the Abigail baby blanket. By the way, I was checking on some things this morning. I was really, except for just a little bit of Facebooking from my phone, I was totally unplugged for a week. And if you haven't done that in a while, give it a try. It's really great. I really didn't have time except to respond to my family's text here and there, and it was really great because I was just interacting one on one with all the different family. I was by myself. My husband was up here; he had to work, but I got to see Becky and Brian, her husband, and go to a baby shower that was just wonderful. It was a co-ed girl guy, couples invited shower. It had a lot of people there, and my daughter's really blessed. The baby is gonna have clothes. I would say at least for the first year of his life, not for the rest of his life, but it was just so good to see my kids, to see Becky, and to see my son Caleb and his wife Christy, who are also expecting, and got to see her parents, got to see Brian's parents, and let's see who else. It's just so many people. Got to see Hudson, my son, and of course spend time with Caleb. And I got to see really great friends in Columbia, South Carolina. It was just a sweet, sweet time of fellowship, and totally unplugged. It was like living in the 80s again, in a good way, in all the good ways about the 80s, and visiting Columbia, South Carolina. I hadn't been to Columbia in years, and honestly, it is a different town than the one I remember. But it was fun. I'll have to post a picture. I drove by the home that I lived in with three other single gals many years ago, and it's just great to see that somebody bought the home. It was no longer a rental, and they really fixed it up, and it just looks beautiful. And it was one of these old Carolina homes made of brick, one bathroom in the entire house. It was a 3 bedroom, so four of us girls lived there. And I tell you, well, it's probably too much information, but I think we always talk about this and say that was the best preparation for marriage for all of us, is that we had to learn to share a bathroom with four adult women, and we did it, and we are all friends, very close friends even to this day. So if you need to work on friendship, maybe rent a place together and share a bathroom. I don't know. That might be a a way to make an enemy as well if you don't have the right friends, I guess. But it was just great to just kind of see a little bit of the town. I was afraid to explore too much of it because I was afraid I was going to get lost, because a lot of the places that I remember are no longer there. The band field is gone. Um, the place where I spent a lot of my college time practicing, it's just gone. It's all been transformed. But it was great to just, see some of the town. All right, well, let me show you some crochet. And I'm really excited about this design. This design just kind of popped out of, I just thought, oh, I need to do something. I saw yarn. So this is the design. You wonder what came first, the design or the yarn. Well, the yarn came first. I was in Joann's. Remember, I don't remember, on Facebook, I posted that rainbow that was there was a double rainbow outside of Joann's, and I posted something on Facebook about it's not gold at the end of the rainbow, it's yarn. So anyway, I went ahead And the yarn that I got, if you remember, it's Bernat blanket yarn. I know that's probably backwards, but you can use your imagination. It's Bernat blanket yarn by Yarnspirations. And this is not a paid endorsement. This is just yarn I purchased with my own money. And it's called Perfect Phasing. And it changes from dark to light, and they have several different colors. Here is some, I'll just read some information on this yarn. It's the blanket yarn, so it's the real thick stuff, and I'll show you in just a second. This is a super bulky yarn, number 6 on the, right here. It's a number 6, super bulky. Each of these cakes has, if I can find the yarn, okay, it's 100% polyester. Okay, where is it? It's on the other side. It's 220 yards or 201 meters. So let me just stop talking and show you what I have, okay? This is the baby blanket, and you can see the nice fade on that. Okay, I used 2 cakes, and each of these, I don't even remember how much it cost, but maybe you can catch a sale at Joann's. I got this at Joann's, and I am advertising this as a 4-hour baby blanket. You can complete this in 4 hours. I am not joking. And I just thought it was a fun pattern. It uses front post double crochet stitches and a simple double crochet V-stitch, and it just alternates it back and forth. If you wanted to make this into a full size throw, you just increase by adding multiples of 18, okay, to make it wider or to make it smaller, if you could just subtract that. So this is coming. Now, I am advertising it as a 4-hour baby blanket. If I wasn't involved in the design process, I timed myself crocheting in a relaxed manner, and I could do this in 2 hours. So if you're a faster crocheter, you can do this in probably 2 to 3 hours. If you're, I think, just normal crocheter, I know you can do that. If you're experienced, in other words, you know how to do the stitches already, you could do this easily in 4 hours or even less. Now, if you're an absolute beginner, of course, it's going to take you longer if you have trouble forming your stitches. Now, that said, you may not want to sit down and do it in a 4-hour sitting because it is the Bernat blanket yarn. It does have a little more friction involved in creating the stitches, but I did use a size L or 11 or 8.00 millimeter crochet hook, and it really didn't bother my hands at all. And once I started with the color changes, I just couldn't stop. I just was having so much fun with it. So I did do it over a 2-day period because I was in the design process, but time wise, 4 hours or much less. Hannah is sending me a note. Okay. Okay, so Hannah says that a new watcher, welcome to the channel, Amy. Amy has a bunch of rolls of yarn of all different colors and doesn't know what to do with them, and you're new to crocheting. Okay. All right. And Hannah wants to know if I have any projects for her to do with scraps of yarn. Absolutely. I have hundreds of designs. So let me go ahead. So I'll go ahead and put this over here on top of the Love Cables throw. So I'm going to leave that there. So that's coming on Monday. And let's see. Amy, is that right, Amy? Yeah, Amy, I have a lot of different things. I would go to my homepage, and maybe after the live, if you wanted to finish out the live with us, but whenever, go to my homepage and then look around below where the screen is. You'll see maybe it's at the top, and it'll say playlist. And if you click on playlist, there are a lot of different categories of different projects, and you can just click on the category you're looking for. And depending on the type of yarn you have, like if you have a lot of cotton yarn, I definitely have a lot of dishcloths and things like that that you can make. Uh, and with a, with a small amount, if you're looking for um, like squares, I do have actually the throw right here. I do have throws like this where you make a square out of, a color, and you can use that for like a stash buster. If you have a lot of the same size yarn, like a lot of like Red Heart, Super Saver, or something like that, each of those squares takes about a skein of yarn. So of course, no, but there's no rule that they all have to be the same color or even all one solid color. I do have granny squares. I have all sorts of things. So, and you can also email me privately, bonniebay@me.com, and you can, I can try to, answer your question more privately if you have, other questions to go back and forth about that. Thank you for sending that to me, Hannah. And we have, um, oh, Lynn, you're so sweet. Just commenting with Alana. And Alana, thank you again for joining us. Um, Lynn says, just put your feet up, grab some yarn, and relax. Yep. I do all the talking, unfortunately. Um, and Cynthia, good morning to you. She's from sunny Illinois. Yay. I'm glad you guys have some sun today. It's beautiful out here today. It's nice and sunny. We're probably going to be getting some pop-up thunderstorms, which is, typical of the summer. So, and we can certainly use that rain. I'm going to have to put a picture. This just reminds me, looking outside. My husband captured a picture of the deer. He has motion motion cameras on our house for security reasons, and he got a notification of motion outside, and it was a deer, and the deer's head just kind of goes pop, looks at us, and then goes back to eating whatever it was eating around my house. So they ate a little bit of my impatiens a few weeks ago, but they've left the rest alone so far. So we'll see how that goes. I've been sprinkling I'm not gonna get into a long discussion about how to prevent deer. I've tried a lot of things, and I'm not really interested in real stinky things because I like to sit out on my porch, and I really don't wanna smell whatever comes out of those toxic bottles that keeps them away. But I have been using, uh, garlic, and that has, I think, helped. They've left the rest of them alone. They're garlic sprinkled, and it smells like an Italian restaurant outside my home, which is much more, doable for me than some of those other chemical kind of smells. Okay, so Hannah's getting back about the yarn that Amy has. Most of the yarn is acrylic and some don't have labels. Um, okay, if the yarn seems like it's the same size, I mean, you could still use it, Amy. I would look into maybe doing squares and then, crocheting them together. I have several uh designs in the well, and look in the blankets, the throws, the Celtic Aran throws list. There are several in there where you can make, even small squares or large squares, just whatever you really want to do. And I have one that's just a big baby blankets, even. You can just take those and just keep going round and around. And this blanket here, this is the one that folks have talked about already, the Abigail baby blanket. I mean, you can certainly start a blanket like this, and it just starts in the center and just grows and grows and grows. And this was self-striping yarn. The cakes were already in these colors, but you could certainly just, continue to add, any colors that you had. You can, this is a DK weight yarn, but you can use a number 4 weight yarn or whatever you have, and just keep going until you use up all your yarn. I think that, color changing yarns or changing the colors as you go would be fine on this. And incidentally, guys, this is sitting in the number 1 seat right now at Lovecrafts for the US um, pattern. So thank you, guys. And I think somebody's a crocheter sent me this beautiful picture of their blanket. So it wasn't even my work. It was one of a work from one of you. And I shared that with her permission. And it must have gotten shared in some of these crochet chats And there's been a lot of interest as of late on the Abigail baby blanket. So this again, this would be a good one for you to try. The video is on my YouTube channel, so you can just hit the home page, and if you hit videos, it'll be listed towards the top of the videos, or you can always just um, look it up, the Abigail baby blanket. So yeah, that one actually might be a good way to go, because you can just continue to make this larger, just continue the pattern, and once you've done a few rounds of this, it's easy. You'll understand it pretty well. Well, Anna, so good to have you from southern Sweden. Wow, she said we are having good crochet weather. So good to see you. Wow, someone from so far away. And you guys must be getting close to dinner time about now or after. Let me see, Sweden. Yeah, you guys are probably 6 hours ahead of us. So probably sitting down to eat a good meal. And love to craft. It's good to see you in the chat. And let's see. Just wanna make sure I don't miss anybody. If I do, as always, it's not intentional. I'm just reading as these are fed. Oh, and it switched over to top chat again. Oh, let me go ahead and switch it to live chat. That might mess things up a bit, but, uh, because a lot of times if it's on top chat, it doesn't show everybody's comments. So I'm just gonna go from here, and I probably missed some of you, so I apologize if I missed you. Michelle, thank you for praying for Bobby. I so appreciate that. And and thank you, Jacqueline, for wishing Hannah luck. She already took the test, so she's done. She passed. Life is good. um, yeah, and yeah, Wanda Gordon. Yeah, I know you're not the truck driver, but there's another Wanda in the chat. I haven't seen any comments from her today, but yeah. Maybe the others don't know that we have at least 3 or 4 Wandas in our group here. Um, and oh, Brat's mom, so good to have you in our chat today. And Charlotte, good to see you. And oh wow, Kelly says her sister Patty used to be a semi truck driver. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of work, a lot of hard work. Um, yeah, and both of you, yeah, both Wandas are from North Carolina. North Carolina is a big state. And, oh, Amy, thank you. It's I have Antonia. Looks like she's from Germany. Wow. And Amy, thank you for viewership, for watching the videos. I so appreciate that. That enables me to continue to do what I do and to be able to work from home or wherever I am. Wow, lots of truck drivers. Michelle says my boyfriend's brother is a truck driver. Stays with us during his off time, and the stories he tells, oh, I bet. I could tell you guys some stories just from the drive that I took this past week all the way down and back to Georgia, and these guys are going, I know our friend Wanda, the truck driver, she goes cross country regularly. I imagine she has a few tales. Uh, and again, thank you, Hannah, for all that you're doing for us. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that picture, Kelly, of what, um, those bags that you're making. Amy says, "I have a lot of questions but don't know where to start." Amy, feel free to contact me, bonniebay@me.com, and I'll see what I can do if you have specific questions. I try to answer my email, as often as I can, and just to let you all know, I don't respond to social media or mail, generally on the weekends, especially or even, to the YouTube stuff. I saw a lot of things coming in over this past week on YouTube. I just couldn't get to them. So if you had an emergency or something and that was you, I'm sorry, but I was either interacting with a lot of people or just enjoying staying unplugged. But I'm going to be getting back to that. I tried to get back to it some last night, and I'm going to be hitting a lot of those unanswered YouTube questions probably this afternoon once I get going. And I've also got a lot of writing to do, so I'll need to get busy on that. All right. What's this I have to see? Okay, Lisa says, I used to drive Connecticut to North Carolina a lot. Always let truck drivers in. Yes. One time, the truck I let in and another blocked me in. It made me slow down along with them. Once we passed the cop, they unblocked me. Wow. It reminds me of a movie, which I won't mention, but it's a fun movie. So you were in the cradle there for a bit. That's cool. Let's see. Yeah, Denise says that's great to Lisa about that's what a great thing they did for you. Yep. And Karen said she just finished the Abigail baby blanket. Yeah, so I'd love to see your pictures. If you guys don't mind sharing with me, you can always just send me the pictures. And I request that even if you send them to me on Messenger, I'll explain this again. A lot of times, Messenger, go ahead and silence that. Messenger kind of compresses the photos. So if I try to share it from Messenger, it's just going to be real pixelated. So that's why I always ask people if you can send to me the highest resolution that you can, and send it to my email, bonniebay@me.com. That information is in the video description below. So you can just email it to me. And if you can give me permission, say you have permission to share on social media, that would be great. And if I don't get that permission, I will ask you, can I have your permission to share? Because I don't want to, spoil a special present for somebody, or anything like that online. So um, yeah, let me go ahead and put my email down here. Okay, I'm shaking the table doing that. But I just posted my email down there. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Lisa's saying that they yeah, she said that they knew that a cop was ahead doing radar and didn't want me to get a speeding ticket. So they had me slow down along with them. I was very appreciative. Yeah, that is really kind. And just by the way, even saying the word cop, I remember years ago, that's really a good word. Just to let you all know. I remember when I was homeschooling my kids, a friend of mine, um, her brother was a police officer or a cop. And he told the kids, he said, some people think that it's bad to call a police officer a cop, but it's actually abbreviations for constable on patrol. So it's really not a derogatory term at all. It's actually, an accurate, just a synonym for a police officer. So I, I don't know why that popped into my head, but I just thought I'd throw that along. So that is great, that they were able to, slow you down and save you some money and keep you a little bit safer there, Lisa. Um, and Amy says, I bought a lot of rolls of yarn from someone and not all are full rolls and don't know what to do with them all. I'm new at crochet. Yeah, that was the question that Hannah sent me. So definitely check out the Abigail baby blanket, or maybe another blanket, on somebody else's site. There may be some other great stuff out there on the internet for sure. Phil is here from soggy Nebraska. I guess you're getting a lot of rain, huh, Phil? So glad to have you back with us again. And I say Tiffany from Texarkana, Texas. I hope I said that right. Wow. Well, Tiffany, I am going to be heading out your way. I don't know where Texarkana is in relation to Dallas, but I'm going to be in your town September. Let me tell you the dates. I'll go ahead and put a plug in for this. It's at the DFW Fiber Fest in Irving, Texas. That is September 14th through the 17th. And registration is now open. I'll be teaching two intermediate classes called I Love Crochet Cables and Big and Bold Cables, two different classes, 3-hour classes. And I will be teaching a class there, tassels, fringe, and other knotty trims, and as well as taking great photos of your crochet. Those last two classes are brand new classes. They'll probably be the first time I teach them out in Dallas, and I'm really looking forward to that. Got some really cool equipment to show you, a new light box to show you guys for that class. So I'm going to just reserve that for that time in Dallas. And I'll go ahead and fill you in on some other classes while I can. And the next time I leave the house, unless something unforeseen happens, or next time I travel, will be to the Interweave Yarn Fest. This is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, August 2nd through the 5th. And they have whittled down my schedule to only 4 classes now. So what they've done is they threw out a lot of classes by a lot of different people, and some of them just did not get the minimum um, in the registration process. So they have changed my class load. I'm going to be teaching 4 classes. 2 are intermediate level, the I Love Crochet Cables class and the Big and Bold Cables. And then I'm also going to be teaching crochet fabric for beginners. And the other class is going to be a designing class called Designing Your Own Triangular Scarf. So if you sign up for that class, it's going to be the 3-hour version, not the 6-hour. And come prepared with ideas. I just encourage people who are signing up for that to uh, be thinking about the kind of stitches you like, because we are going to just be getting into it right away. We've got 3 hours. We're obviously not going to have a totally designed and crocheted scarf when you leave, but you should have enough to go on to go ahead and begin your own design, and one which you can write on your own. And I think it'll be a really fun thing. I really had a good time with this last year in Loveland, Colorado. I'm also going to be teaching at the end of August at the Pittsburgh Creative Arts Festival. Registration is open for this. So registration is open for all of these classes now. It is a first come, first serve. I will say I've never been to the one in Dallas. So this will be my first time out there. But the Pittsburgh classes fill up quickly. So if you're interested in Pittsburgh classes with anybody teaching there, uh, I would get signed up as soon as possible, because there's no reason to wait if you're going to be going, because they will fill up. I had a couple of very busy classes there. I'm going to be teaching a beginning knitting class that's designed for crocheters. If you've ever wanted to learn to knit and you've tried and failed, that was me up until several years ago. And I finally was shown the best way to do it. It uses my muscle memory. So I'll be teaching that class. I'll also be teaching the 2 cabling classes for intermediates, the I Love Crochet Cables and the Big and Bold Cables, as well as the Fun Crochet Fabric for beginners. So that will be in Pittsburgh, August 24th through the 26th. It's actually in Green Tree, which is outside the Beltway. So you're not having to, stay in the city proper if that was a concern to you. I mean, Pittsburgh is great, but it is in a suburb just outside. So it's a little bit easier to get to, free parking. And there are going to be yarn markets, fiber markets, whatever, at all of these events. I know the one in Pittsburgh is very large. I'm told the one in Dallas is also very large. And when I went to the one in Loveland, Colorado last year, of course, the one I'm going to be at is in Lancaster. First time teaching in Lancaster, but I expect it to be rather sizable as well. So you can, bring, plan to do some shopping if that's something you like to do. There are going to be a lot of indie dyers there. You're going to see a lot of beautiful things. And there are additional activities too. So you just have to check the websites. I have all that information in the video description below. So you can just check that out and, find out all that you need to do. Let me show you the Crochet World magazine. This is the Autumn 2023 magazine is out. If you used to subscribe to Crochet magazine, that's Crochet ! Or if you used to get Crochet magazine because you're a Crochet Guild of America member, just know that that magazine is no more. That has been retired. But if you're a Crochet Guild of America member, you get the Crochet World magazines as a part of your membership. So just to let you know that. So I found that out because I ended up with 2 copies because I subscribed to Crochet World magazine, and then this was substituted. So if you end up with 2 copies like I did, that's what's going on. So so if you're a Crochet Guild of America member, you don't have to renew your Crochet World subscription because this is what's going to be coming as a substitute for that. And as you know, this is probably my favorite one anyway. Lots of really fun things to crochet. I'm not going to go through all of it, but let me just see if there's a um, oh, this is cute, a teddy bear pillow. And if you're not a Crochet Guild of America member, you can subscribe to this through Annie's. I think there is a video, I'm sorry, a web link in the video description, and I'll just show you some of the stuff there. It's a cute little basket. They had some beautiful things in here. A lot of these are very, very beginner friendly. There's even a fillet table piece. So let me see. And then in the center will be a section which is about this thick, which is the chain link newsletter, which is the newsletter for Crochet Guild of America. And there's my friend Lindsay Stevens. She's the new Crochet Guild of America president, and we're very thankful for her. She's having to navigate through a lot of financial challenges coming out of the pandemic and such. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at this. This is by a new designer that I'm not familiar with. Beautiful things in here. So, and again, oftentimes they are very approachable, very doable, um, very, very easy to do. Okay. So if I were you, and if you're in the US, and even if you're not in the US, you are welcome to join the Crochet Guild of America. And so, oh, look at this. There's even a sweater. There's even a cardigan sweater in here to crochet. Isn't that beautiful? So what I would do, I think it would be a better, oh, I don't know if the money's is better, but it'd probably be comparable. I would join Crochet Guild of America, and then you would get this. It'll be 4 copies a year that would come to your house if you live in the US. Outside the US, I think you would get the PDF version of this. So anyway, that's the crochet world, and that's what's happening in the publication world out there. Keep an eye on the time. Let me go ahead and get back to saying hey to some of you guys. And again, thank you, Hannah, for all that you're doing. Oh, thank you, Denise, for your sweet comment about the baby blanket. Yeah, Amy, please, you can send me a photo of the yarn that you're working with too. That would be great. And we could kind of do some brainstorming about that. And Michelle says, "Oh my, so pretty and squishy." Yes, 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 yes. Let me tell you this. Let me talk about one more thing. This is the 4-hour baby blanket, which most of you can probably knock out in about 3 hours or less. It has holes in it. Okay. Look, it has holes. And this was done intentionally. I've only heard from a couple crocheters who say that they heard that holes were bad for babies and dangerous. I have never heard of it being a problem, and I have crocheted hundreds of baby blankets and given them as gifts. I actually think the opposite. I think the colorway, the way this is, and also when you have holes in a blanket, the babies can yes, they do put their fingers in. And a lot of times, there's this little boy at our church, and his mom said he loves the holes because he just sits and he weaves his fingers in and out of the blanket. It's a very tactile stimulation for him, and he just, and this yarn, love it or hate it when it comes to crocheting with it, it feels amazing. In fact, the blanket and Yarnspirations, I'm not a paid endorser for Yarnspirations. They're not paying me to say this. But the blanket that my husband and I default to when we're watching a program in the evening and we're sitting kind of close, cozy together, is made of this very yarn. It's made out of the Bernat blanket yarn. It's the big cushy cable one. Okay. So again, let's see, Hannah's sending me an email or a link here. Yeah, I did post the email, the CGOA. I believe, well, let me go ahead. Let me see if I can find that for you, Hannah, because we do. Let me just say this: that if you join Crochet Guild of America, you will get the 4 copies per year. They're going to a quarterly publication, and it's a lot thicker. You can see that there are a lot more um, designs in these than there used to be. There's more than 30 designs in this publication. So it's definitely worth the newsstand price. What is the newsstand price? Okay, the newsstand price is $9.99 in the US or $10.99 in Canada. So I think it would be comparable. It might be a little bit more to join CGOA, but let me say that you would be contributing to a really, really good organization. Um, Nothing is perfect. That is true, but I have just benefited tremendously as a designer, as a crocheter. Some of my best, closest friends outside of my family, I met through a crochet guild meeting, through a conference, attending the conferences. So that's the real highlight because we don't have a conference this year because we are as an organization, we're regrouping, we're trying to build a little bit, and then hopefully we'll be able to have another conference next year. As you know, 2020, the pandemic time, everything shut down. That really hurt a lot of people. A lot of businesses just didn't recover at all. We are doing okay, but we're not well enough to host another conference because we did host a conference and it was just right after the pandemic and a lot of people could not attend. So there was a lot of loss there. But I just want to encourage you. It's a really good group of folks. A lot, very diverse crowd. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to when we get together again because it's an all crochet conference. It's not just and I love knitters too, but it's not like a bunch of knitters and then like 3 little crocheters over here, like some events can be. No, this is totally all crocheters, and these gals are fun, are great to. Okay, Hannah sent me another text here. From Alex, hi Bonnie. I consider myself a highly experienced intermediate level crocheter. However, I do not know how to read patterns. Do you have any video tutorials on how to read patterns? I actually do. If you go to my homepage, and if there's a little spyglass or the little question box, you can always put reading crochet patterns and that video will pop up. Or maybe Hannah, can you try to find that link? Um, okay, excellent question, Phil. Thank you for asking this. He says, isn't the crochet or CGOA for professional crocheters though? What would a newer crocheter learn from joining? Oh, thank you for asking that. No, 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 no. The Crochet Guild of America is for anybody. I think the word guild might be a little confusing because guilds traditionally were for people who make a living doing that. I promise you, not many people who go to these are making a real living doing this. And it's just by the grace of God that I am at this point, but this is after 12 plus years of getting books published and just working on the side uh, as hard as I possibly could over that decade. And then from that, I'm able to make a sustained living doing this, and because of the support of people like you. But no, Crochet Guild, that's such a great question, Phil. Crochet Guild is for anybody. There are beginning classes there. I'm going to be teaching classes, or I have taught classes, just beginning level classes. This is for anybody interested in the craft in any way, shape, or form. Now, if you're somebody who is interested in getting your works published, it's a fantastic place where you can network and find out that information. That's what I did, and it helped me tremendously. The first one I attended was in 2011 in Greensboro, North Carolina. Had an amazing time, and I didn't sign up for any classes. I didn't have the money. So, I mean, in fact, I think I've told you this story, but to answer your question, getting back to Phil's question, no, this is for anybody. Even if you don't know how to crochet, but you want to learn, you could attend. You can And it's always great to just connect with people. The people will point you in directions where you want to grow, what you want to do. But no, this is the Crochet Guild is for anybody who is interested in the craft, even in the slightest. And it's a great place to grow your skills. In fact, they have a program. Um, excuse me, I haven't been through the program myself, but it's a master's stitch program where um, having you have access to things online as part of your membership, and things you can participate in or crochet alongs. um, but they do have a special recognition for a master's class program that takes a couple years to get through. Personally, I went through, I mean, before I even knew about this program, I had completed the Craft Yarn Council of America courses, in order to be a certified teacher in the big box stores many years ago. So no, again, thanks for asking that question. It's for anybody. And I'm just thinking that if you're going to get the magazine, if you're interested in the Crochet World magazine at all, if you sign up for the guild, for Crochet Guild of America, then it's kind of a win-win because you're helping to support the Crochet Guild, and it has some benefits for you. Plus, when we get around to doing a conference, hopefully in 2024, you get special discounts on classes and all sorts of things. So you'd have to check out that site. Let me go ahead and get the link for you. Um, let's see if I can. Okay, here we go. All right, got my link. I'll just tell you what it is. It's crochet.org. It's really easy to remember. I just posted it in the chat. But it's also, I think it's also in the video description. And on the video description, I know a lot of times it's hard to get to that. If you see kind of an intro about what the video is about below the video, and then you'll say see more. When you hit the word see more, or just say more, and then it'll open up the box, the video description box, which has probably way more stuff than I should put in there, but all the different ways that you can contact me, or if you're looking for some, more of my design work and the books and all that stuff, it is down there. So I have not activated the Etsy store yet, but I need to do that again since I'm back into town. If anybody is interested, in any of my published works, and a lot of those are all available on Amazon.com, and sometimes they're cheaper on Amazon. So, like for example, this book, Contemporary Celtic Crochet, this was published in 2013, so it's 10 years old already. Good grief. Um, they have this on Amazon for just over $17. It cost me more than that to send the book out. So my books are a little more expensive online. I believe it's around 20 online, but I believe I think yeah, the what am I looking for? Postage is included. So a lot of my books do ship in the US for free, in the continental US. And I do autograph all the books that go out. I'm going to activate them on Etsy after I get off, probably later on this afternoon. I don't have those, and things like this. I don't have these available when I'm traveling, simply because I can't mail them out. So I'm going to add them back, and they'll be there for a couple weeks until the end of July, because then again, I begin travel. I do a lot of travel in August, so they probably won't be available in August. Or even into September. So they're going to take a hiatus and be gone for a little while, and then I'll add them back in once I'm home and no longer on the road. But anyway, those are there some of the time, but they are all always available on Amazon. And usually, like I said, usually for a little bit cheaper, especially if you have Amazon Prime and don't have to pay shipping. I just can't compete with that because I have to pay postage and drive them to the post office and all. So anyway, let me see. Let's get back to saying hey to folks. Oh, it's almost 1 o'clock. Good grief. Well, Katie, it's good to see you in the chat from Tennessee. I I drove through Tennessee. It was drove through Tennessee on I-40 last week, last Friday actually. Through some very fun weather. Through 81 and then to I-40. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful state. I could live in Tennessee, I think. Uh oh, we have Ingrid from the Netherlands. Wow, golly, it's wonderful to have you all from other countries. Um, and that's just amazing to me. And thank you, Michelle. She said Bonnie's bonbon blanket is perfect for stash busting on various colors. Yeah, and those squares are like tiny. So and it's a very airy blanket, but you can always just crochet them and then crochet them, join them closer together too to have more of a solid blanket on that if you don't mind, you know, getting your designer on. You could do that. And Grace, it's so good to have you in the chat. And yeah, okay, Hannah's talking with Terry. Thank you. Thank you guys for taking care of Hannah. Thank you, Hannah, for trusting in the Lord. Yeah, staying hydrated. And not the end. Oh, that's great. From Kings Mountain, North Carolina. So glad to see you in the chat. I'm glad I saw that. It's first time I've seen your name. That's great. That's I love I love the name that you have there. And uh I'm just trying to see if there are anybody new here. Is if there's anybody new. Karen, that's Karen Wagner says about the holes in the baby blanket said that unless the baby is out in a stiff wind, holes in their blanket could serve as a heat regulator if nothing else. Nothing more uncomfortable for a baby than to be overheated. Keep them warm. But absolutely, I never thought about that. And and yeah, and even though it has holes in it, certainly going to keep you warm. I mean, I was gonna well, let me go ahead and show you another design from a few weeks ago that was released, the Aegean Waves stole. I mean, it is nothing but holes with the lace. But let me tell you, when I put this on, I'm not going to put it on now because it's going to heat me up too much. But with the natural fibers in particular, even if this was just acrylic, like the blanket is, it would still heat me up. And even though it has big holes, it definitely raises the body temperature, which is what you want if you're cold, right? To keep warm. So yeah, don't be afraid of holes in a design or to think that there's a hole in the crocheted sweater that it's going to be cold. No, no, no. Thank you for pointing that out. It's a heat regulator. I could use those words again. Excellent. Um, yeah, Josie, I'm talking to Alex about learning how to read patterns. Um, Contact me. I can send you some information, or I can send you the link that way, Alex. Okay, bonniebay@me.com. Just wait a minute. Yeah, yeah, bonniebay@me.com. Just email me and I can send you the link that's on my channel. And what I basically do is lead you through the one of the very simple crochet designs that is going to be silly easy for you to do, but I just explain what the words mean. And if you know how to read, and I start out by just telling people, if you know how to read a text message from a teenager or a young adult, this will be easier because you just learn what the abbreviations mean and you read. But I understand your challenge because it just seems that every crochet pattern can have a slightly different style, especially now where there are a lot of self-published works where people have never published for a publication company and haven't had to follow a guideline. It's very common for the style of writing to vary greatly, and that does make it hard to read. I noticed that, when I learned how to knit, that knitting is quite straightforward and much easier to read than crochet patterns, and I think partly because crocheting is a little more challenging. Yes, I'm gonna say it. For some people, okay, clarificate, for some people, crocheting is much more difficult than knitting, For some of us, knitting can be more difficult than crocheting, but I think that's just because you don't understand a knit and a purl. If you learn how to do a knit and a purl stitch, which I'm going to be teaching in Dallas, um, and I also teach that in some of my videos, my knitting beginning videos on this channel. If you understand knit and the purl and you learn that, it is so much easier than reading crochet. So I hope I'm not offending any knitters out there, but it's just the way it is. Um, got a lot of different voices in reading. Oh, thank you, Hannah. Found the video. Thank you. Thank you, my dear. You're so sweet. All right. Kelly says her dog is afraid of thunder. Yeah, most dogs are. My mom and dad had a black chow chow dog, and he actually jumped through a a bunch of we had these jealousy glasses on the back doors. It was an old house. He went right through the glass one time. Didn't get hurt, but they had to fix the door after that. But heard a lot of lightning. Um, oh wow, Wen said that her friend Joyce, is that Joyce Geisler? Is that right? Who designed that table runner? Yeah, she designs a lot of things for Crochet World. She's a old, tried and true designer. I've seen her name for years in the magazines. Well, tell her I said hi, Wen. That's great. And ah, we have Shiny Philip. So welcome to our chat. She says I'm joining the live after a long time. It's night here. Oh boy. And we just make sure. I just want to make sure. Okay, and Josie was telling Alex that, yeah, you can find a guide online that explains the abbreviations, print it out and have it with you. Let me show you. Most magazines, like for example, here, will also print that out. I think it's in the back. Okay, now let me show you this stitch guide. This is a scary stitch guide, okay? Right? I know it's backwards. Right here, okay, there are abbreviations, and don't feel like you have to know, 50 abbreviations. You don't. You really need about 5 or 6. And there are abbreviations in that listing that I never use. So don't be afraid of a huge long list of things you have to know. You don't. Um, and so many of these are just very intuitive, like space, SP, um, YO, like yo, it's yarn over. So I mean, just they're very intuitive. It's like I said, it's like texting. And some of these you will never, ever, ever need to know. There are some that I'm seeing in here that I don't use in any of my patterns, and my patterns are intermediate to advanced level. So just know that it's just a matter of just, yeah. And again, there's one here. There's one listing like that in just about every publication that's on the market, if they're a good publication. I keep, yeah, I have them in mine as well. And I keep a listing of on all my independently sold PDF patterns. They always have a list of the abbreviations that I'm going to use in that pattern. And usually that list is very short, probably no more than 6 to 8 abbreviations. And that's including everything, stitches and, everything. So it's not as daunting as, or encyclopedic as some publications make it seem. And for goodness sake, if you ever look at a beginning crocheter book, I've seen some beginning crocheter books that have listings, I mean, just out the gazoo. And I'm like, I've never used that. And I've been designing for a decade, so don't get intimidated by beginning books that are this thick. My beginning book is like this thick, and it's this thick simply because it has a bunch of patterns that you can start off with right away. Um, and from Amy, she says, instead of making a regular chain to start, I watched a video where they did a half double crochet starter chain. Can you do that on everything? That's a good question, Amy. I'm going to go ahead and answer this, and then I'm going to have to kind of start towards the end here. Personally, it works for some things, especially if you don't want a tight chain. I don't use those because I think it tends to add a lot more bulk to what is traditionally the starter chain, but that's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of designers use that and they've never gone back to a regular chain. They just love it. I'm kind of old school. I I kind of don't like all that extra, yarn for that chain because it will leave kind of a bump. If it's a like a neckline or something like that. I prefer just a chain. And I always tell people in the videos, if you tend to chain very tightly, that could be a problem. And what I encourage you to do to remedy that is just bump up to a larger hook so that that chain is looser and then go back to your gauge hook and just work in the chain. I mean, I use a regular chain for everything. um, but again, I don't want to discourage you from giving it a try. You should give it a try and see what you think. See, like if you're making something where that edge needs to be very flexible and stretchy, that's a great option. So it really depends on what you're using it for. But in a nutshell, I'm just dyed in the wool, old school. I like my chains, and I usually crochet on both sides of them so that the chain, like when I worked this blanket and many others. Whoop, there it goes. um, I I crochet around the entire edge so that you don't even see the starting chain. So yeah, so there are lots of options though, but definitely give it a chain. Try, learn how to do it so that you can you know understand your opinion on some of these, because it's just, again, my opinion on that. Hannah's sending me another question, but I am going to have to start ramping down here. Let me just see. Oh my goodness, there's so many other people I haven't gotten to. Diane Hill, so glad to see you in the group chat. She says, working on the colorful cable throw while listening. The neural stitch in reverse is a real challenge. Yeah, it is. I have a song about that, about how challenging it is. Crazy how you have to really concentrate. I'm glad to be back crocheting. Yay. Yeah, doing it backwards is a challenge. That is my slowest stitch as well, if that's helpful. Okay, part two to the question. With the regular chain on second row, do you go through one top loop or both? I don't really know, because I really don't know, Amy, because I would send that question to the person who made the video or who is teaching it. I don't use it enough to really even know. And it can be confusing to me. And I think, yeah, so I think you need to find out um, what the person who's teaching that says, because there are probably more than one ways of teaching it. So I really don't know. So sorry about that. Let me make sure there's nobody else I haven't at least said hey to. Oh my goodness. Is it Shars? Sharis? Sharis? Is that right? It says, how to join CGOA. The website is not easy to get membership information. Um, why don't you email me, bonniebay@me.com, and I will see what I can do for you if the website is giving you some problems. And Pam's project says, I find the chain leaves a hole and a stacked double crochet doesn't. It depends on what you like. Try it. Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of different techniques out there, and I've seen the stacked chain, like when doing a turning chain. That looks interesting. But I think she's talking more the foundation chain. So thank you, Hannah. Yes, Hannah just posted my email in the chat. So yeah. Well, thank you, Amy. I'm glad that helped. Let me just see if there's anybody else. Okay. If I missed your, okay, we have ERF. It says, I love every second of, okay, okay, I must have missed your first one. Just finished the Abigail blanket in Acre Woods for my nephew. My nephews love to poke their little fingers through the lacy holes. So cute. This is a fantastic pattern chain. Oh, thank you. Well, welcome to our chat, ERF. I'm so glad that you joined us today. Um, And let's see. She says, I love every second of making it, and it just received so many compliments. Yeah, and she says, "I the pattern and the yarn do all the work and deserve all the praise." Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, it was a fun, it's easy enough, I think, with the double crochet rounds, but there's the challenge with the Celtic weave. So if we're still on talking terms after the Celtic weave, that means you must have gotten it. So I'm thankful for that. That's definitely a challenging stitch. And we have US in the chat from Berlin, Germany. Wow, I have yet to go to Berlin. Been to other places in your beautiful country, have not been to Berlin. I really would like to go there just from a historic standpoint, if nothing else, but, have, flown out of, uh, what is it? Anyway, I have been to where okay, come on, brain, München or Munich. I've been flown out of Munich a couple times and have been in the countryside. Yeah, Hannah says she wants to go to Berlin too. Well, let's go, Hannah. There's so many places I wanna see. Um, just have to wait our turn. And Rebecca, thank you for being in the chat today. And Sandy Grog says, "My husband once enjoyed riding in the rocking chair all through Georgia in our tiny Escort. Love those good buddies, our truckers." Yeah, absolutely. I understood that, Sandy. Grew up in the 60s, 70s. Yeah, that was a big deal back in the day. Um, yep, yep. And the movie I was referring to, you've probably I can't endorse everything in it, but it's a fun ride. The Smokey and the Bandit movie was just pretty funny, but it's not a kids movie, that's for sure. Um, all right, well, let me go ahead. It's I've gone way past, but hey, it's been a while since we've been together, so I feel like we're just catching up. I am going to read you something from my favorite book again. My one of my favorite devotionals. My favorite book is the Bible, the Bible. But this is from my Spurgeon's Beside Still Waters book. This is on Amazon if you guys are looking for something. It's just has just a one little page, um, just one little few paragraphs that you can read when you feel like you need a little perspective builder, or just to kind of get centered for the day. And I'm going to read you. This is on page 63. It's based on Psalm 23, which you all are probably familiar. The Lord is my shepherd psalm, and verse 4. And you know, you never know. I just thought I'd just go ahead and read this. I know some of you are in a situation where you can appreciate this, but as my one of my favorite pastors used to say, if you're not suffering, praise the Lord. But you live long enough, you'll be in that camp at some point or another. That's just one of the things that God uses to make us strong. But anyway, so these are Spurgeon's words based on Psalm 23:4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. You are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And that is the scripture. I intended to keep this choice promise in reserve until I came near the river Jordan. Then, in my last hour, I hoped to enjoy its sweetness. But the other day, I needed this heavenly loaf, and I ate it. Children are told they cannot have their cake and eat it too, but this rule does not apply to God's comforts or His word. You can have a promise and enjoy it too. Several days ago, when a trial howled around me, I ate the honey out of this verse. Its sweetness is still there, and no doubt I will enjoy this promise again when I come near death's gate. The blessed Holy Spirit has already sealed it to my soul with rich and full comfort. Would to God that every believer who was burdened and depressed might find it precious. Although this promise has an expressively delightful application to the dying, it is also for the living. If you are depressed by any difficult trial, then you are walking through the valley of death's shade. I urge you to repeat this promise, and may the Lord help you to feel its truth. Yea, though, even now, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The words are not in the future tense. They are not reserved for a future moment, so use them now. Do not let this song lie on the shelf until your last day. Sing it all the days of your life. So, thank you all for joining me again. I hope that that blesses you and encourages you. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week, hopefully. And don't forget, the 4-hour baby blanket is coming on Monday. And I'm going to try to get that up faster for you watch subscribers. God bless. Bye bye.